Welcome into another breakdown video where we're going to be taking a look at the Midnight Fight Express demo. After spending a few hours playing the demo, there's a few things I wasn't a fan of and a lot of things that I was. So I've broken the game down into several sections across the course of this video. Let's get into it. Let's talk about the music and art. The art style of Midnight Fight Express is honestly amazing. All of it's so smooth and it creates a very immersive environment. The character art is done incredibly well to the point where combat just feels fluent. The environment has been designed to make everything stand out, and I never found myself confused by anything as I grabbed small knives from the ground or I threw a clipboard into the face of my enemy. The eagle eye mechanic built into the game helps to solidify the art direction even further, but I'll get into that when we cover the mechanics. The simplistic blocky art style just works for this game, and in a lot of ways, I think it's fantastic. The music is upbeat and really works well to get you amped up while taking out a group of bozos even though you're outnumbered 8-1. It does a great job of setting the high octane mood, and while I can't say it's the best soundtrack I've ever heard, it does flow nicely and at times even have me head bobbing. It's high energy, and I think the composer of Midnight Fight Express has hit the nail on the head with the music this game needed. The audio really mixed well with the art, making the fighting portion feel very realistic, with great hit sounds and great hit animations that made my enemies look like they were actually feeling the hurt. Now, the storyline follows you playing as a so-called sleeper agent that has had their skills and memories refreshed by a mysterious fighting drone. The city's been overrun by a criminal organization, and the drone claims that unless you help it, the city will be lost to criminals forever. With that, you're off doing whatever the drone wants, not questioning a thing. So, my thoughts on the storyline are this. I honestly think it's one of the weaker points of this game. I understand the direction that they were going for here, but to me, it kinda just fell flat. A protagonist that doesn't talk takes me back to my Zelda days, and while it worked for Zelda, I don't think it works as well here. I got the vibe they wanted to make their play feel like they are the sleeper agent, but I personally would have preferred to watch a relationship form between the sleeper agent and the voice coming through the flying drone. The drone has a quirkiness to it that I really liked, but I think without a partnered personality, it just falls on deaf ears. To me, the story didn't grab me, and while it wasn't bad in any way, it wasn't anything to write home about. The gameplay is where Midnight Fight Express shines. It has an arcade-style beat-em-up tempo, but with some really cool graphics and mechanics built around it that makes it feel fresh and relevant. As you play through, you fight a multitude of enemies, ranging from weak bozos and bulky bozos, all the way up to huge opponents called the Muscle. Each enemy had a different tactic to beating them that throughout the demo never seemed to get old. The enemies are mixed into each combat sequence to the point where it just flowed through and it was easy to anticipate what to do. Different coloured outlines showed around the enemies told me whether I should roll away, parry, or go on the offensive. Messages also appeared on screen letting me know when to roll to avoid being blown to pieces by explosive objects, and there was also an eagle vision mechanic that let me highlight all the objects and enemies while slowing down time. This was nice when I needed to work out how to deal with specific situations. You gain more points for taking out enemies while using different tactics by blowing them to smithereens with explosives or knifing them. Heck, you can just style on them by throwing cardboard boxes until they fall to the ground. Each weapon has a durability and will break over time though, so utilizing weapons like knives that can kill in a single shot by throwing is important to keep control of in certain situations. The actual fighting has you stringing together combinations of light and heavy attacks and using skills and abilities to deliver some brutal punishment to your enemies. This game did an amazing job of making me feel like John Wick as I unloaded my pistol into the bozos before running out of ammo, then throwing the pistol into their face. Lodging a knife into my enemies for a single throw kill also made me feel like I was in a movie action scene. Midnight Fight Express did an amazing job of making all combat situations feel epic. Between the flash parry animations to the skills that have you grappling your opponent just to pummel them into the ground, just didn't get boring. I played through on the normal setting and all the functionality can be tuned and tweaked to suit the challenge you want, but I enjoyed a more casual approach to the demo. Weapons are slowly introduced as you play through, and nothing ever felt overwhelming during the learning process. Even during the tutorial, it didn't feel like a tutorial. That's a part I thoroughly liked. A lot of games struggle to include a tutorial in a game that doesn't feel like a slog to get through just so you can get to the fun. When you're not going full Johnny Cage on the bad guys, you'll be kicking back at your hideout, and that's where the character magic happens. There is a point system that allows you to open up more skills buried inside the mind of your sleeper agent. The skills and upgrade section had 6 different categories to spend the points you earn as you progress through the game. These are fighter, parry and counter, finishes, grapple, rope, and secondary gun. Each skill gives you a video demonstration of what you'll be unlocking, which was really nice to not mistakenly buy something you didn't like. Each level has its own set of enemies, challenges, and rankings. You can test yourself by aiming for a better time and score. Score is earned by keeping up damage combos without being hit. You can also head into the playground, where it puts you into a sandbox with a lot of customizable options to test out new skills and practice against certain enemies you might be struggling with. You can choose what weapons your enemies spawn with to prepare yourself for a challenge run. I think this was a very clever idea to add into the game, and it's going to help speedrunners and people chasing high scores really hone their skills. There is a progression bar that lets you analyze how you're progressing through the game, so you can see all the achievements you've completed and how much of the campaign you have left to do and more. The first tab is Overview, which is pretty self-explanatory. What it shows you is a broad rundown of all things you've accomplished in your time playing. The second tab is the Achievement, so all you achievement hunters can keep an eye on your progress, which I think a lot of people are going to like. The third tab is a more complex breakdown of your statistics, so you can see things like your weapon hit ratio or your best score or how many times you've died and more. One big issue that I did have though is that I think some of the key bindings need to change. The restart button is R, which is right next to the action button E, and the amount of times I found myself restarting the level after I'd gotten close to the end was frustratingly annoying. So I think that is definitely something that needs to change. Customization in a game like this is really important, especially when it's quite obviously trying to immerse you in your own personal sleeper agent situation. From what I found in the demo, I think they delivered. You can change your skin color, hair color. However, I did find it a little bit of an odd design choice to leave out the option to change your hairstyle. And I think maybe it's the only thing that I think is missing. It would be nice to see a hairstyle added into the full release. You can also add tattoos on each limb with some decent art choices to pick from. There's a multitude of clothing items to pick from, however, we were limited in choices for the demo. There are costumes you can open up by completing achievements, and there are some skins that you can open up that let you look like the bosses. Little Tony's skin was a little bit of a pain to get, and it took me a few tries to complete the whole level without getting hit with a weapon and carrying a night toy with me, but in the end it was a fun challenge. Some of the clothing can be opened up with money, the others you'll have to try and unlock hidden achievements. Either way, the customization was good, and I don't have any complaints aside from the lack of hairstyles. Difficulty is dealt with in a great way as it allows for flexible gameplay for anyone wanting to have a go, from newbies to veterans of the genre. If you want to change your difficulty, you just head back to your hideout and then change it through the settings. I felt normal was very balanced and allowed me to pull off some crazy plays that would have been otherwise impossible in the harder difficulties, but sometimes I want to feel like a superhero, and this game gave it to me perfectly. For anyone looking for more of a challenge, they do have a hard mode and realistic mode that offers a more tactical approach to the game. The realistic mode takes away indicators and alerts, meaning you'll need to focus on your enemies a lot more and not rely on the game to tell you when to block or roll. The difficulties in this game are very inclusive, and I think it was done really well. So I think this about sums up everything you need to know before choosing whether this is a game you want to log some time into or whether you want to pass on it. For me personally, I'll definitely be picking up a copy when it releases on the 23rd of August this year. This is the closest to John Wick I think I've ever felt in a game, and you know what? That's enough for me. Let me know in the comments if this is a game you think you'll be picking up. Thank you for watching, everyone. I genuinely appreciate it. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to click that like button, and if you want more gaming news, make sure to subscribe to the Gaming Syndicate. If you want to see more of my game breakdowns or my top 5 game videos, follow one of the video links on the screen. Have a good one, everyone. I'll see you next time.